kind of the final part of the workshop, where we actually put our search terms into the databases and try to find academic secondary texts that are going to help us both with our sample source journal entry for next week, as well as what you're going to do for your major projects in your source journal. Okay. So if we go to the modules page, I just want to show you first like what I'm asking you to do for the sample source journal entry. And so you can open this up, Ward Academic Source Journal Entry. And here's basically the prompt, right? So to get familiar with the database, I'd like for you to find one academic or scholarly text somehow about Salvage the Bones. Okay, so this is an academic text. Remember, we're going to look for it to be peer-reviewed, published by an academic journal. And so it might be an article in a scholarly journal, a chapter in an academic book. Here's what takes you to the library website. You can start there. Please watch all of these videos before you try to go ahead and do this sample source journal entry, okay? So remember, the reason I'm asking you to do this sample journal entry, this is going to be what we talk about on Thursday in class. And so what I'm asking you to do is actually pretend like you have a paper topic, a project topic that's going to be something about Salvage the Bones. And so I just listed out a couple of topics. You can use this as kind of a template to create these search terms, right? Because before we actually do our searching, we're going to want to have our sort of sample research questions and our search terms. And so you can go ahead and use these sample search terms and questions that I created in the last video, or you can come up with ones on your own. It's up to you. But I want you to do all of that before you start using the library database. And then if you look actually in this assignment page, I've given you examples of source journal entries from my other class that's working on this same project right now. And so they did this last week, and this is sort of how it should look, right? The citation of your source here, right? And then the source journal entry below it, right? And so this gives you 3 examples that you can take a look at. Some of them, they're all different than each other, but and they all use different academic texts. But I'd like for you to read through these before you do your searching as well. Okay. So once you read through these 3 samples, and once you've included, once you've come up with your search terms that you're going to use, like we just did in the last video, then you're going to go to the library database. Okay. And so the way to get there is I actually just search South Seattle College Library. And that should bring us up to the main page, okay? So we'll open up Library for South Seattle College, and it'll bring us to this main page. And so from here you have a couple of options, right? You can first try to search for specific databases, or you can do like a really general search. And so what I'd like to start us with is actually a general search. I'm going to click, so if we click on Search the EBSCO databases, that's where you actually want to click. And it's going to bring you to this page, okay? And so this is the most general page of the library. This is our first search term page. And so you're actually going to have to sign in first. So make sure you're logged in, otherwise you're not going to be able to see all your resources. And so you're going to need a couple of things. You're going to need your student number. You're going to need all of your sign-in stuff for the library. And if you don't know how to do that, you're going to have to call the library or go into the library to have them help you get your sign-in information, okay? So once you get to this page, what I'd like you to do is go ahead and just click Advanced Search. And this gives us a few more options here. We can add in multiple search terms. We can say that we just want searches in English. We can pick any kind of publication date, let's say the last 20 years, right? All materials, we can pick what we're sort of looking for. I suggest starting with all materials just to see what comes back. But let's just use a really general search term here and see how we can start. So I think let's start it with just Jasmine Ward, so that this might bring up other things that she's written, scholarly texts that think about Jasmine Ward's body of work and not just Salvage the Bones. So let's check it out. Let's just search and see what comes up. It's giving me a weird thing here. Let's search and see what comes up. Okay. So 702 results. That's probably like more source results than we want, right? So let's say show more here, sort by relevance. Actually, let's go back to the simple search and see what comes up. So Jasmine Ward. let's just pick authors. Apply filters. Okay, 8 results. These are all just about Jasmine Ward, the author. So this probably isn't like exactly what we want. But I'd like to search everything. So let's do the search scope as everything here. And search for everything. Let's see what comes up. Okay, and then one thing you're going to want to click right at the beginning is if it gives you this prompt to expand your results, click expand my results, because we want to work with the broadest possible range of results. Like this gives us 509 to start with. So here we go. We've got a lot of stuff that Jasmine Ward has written. We have some reference entries on Jasmine Ward. And there's a lot of ways from here that you can change what your source is showing you. Okay, so one way we could do it really fast is just go to peer-reviewed journals, right? Since we're looking for an academic source, one of the things you're going to want to look for is peer-reviewed journals. So you can actually set that as a sort of function where we're only going to see things that come from peer-reviewed journals. We could also look up reviews. This is probably going to be reviews of her books, the subject that uses the name Jasmine Ward, right? There's a lot of other ways that we can set the parameters here, and so you just want to play around with that based on what you're looking for. If you're not looking for a scholarly source, you're looking for a popular source, you might click newspaper articles, something like that. So let's just click peer-reviewed journals and see what happens. Okay, so 33 search results here. We've got articles. We know that these are peer-reviewed because, look, it actually tells us that they are, right? And so we know that any of these would count as academic sources. They're from academic journals. And sometimes if we're not sure about a journal, we can open up the source, right? I just clicked on this third one from the Journal of American Studies, and it'll show you more information about the article at this point. And one of the things I recommend is going down here and just reading the description, right? So reading what it actually says is in the article, it gives you kind of a way to sort of do a little bit of scanning before you try to read the article itself, okay? So if you're not sure about a journal, I also suggest that you just go ahead and search that journal. Go back into Google and search it to go, okay, like, where is this published? Okay, it's published as part of an academic journal series. You can learn about whether it's peer-reviewed an academic journal, right? You want to look all that up to make sure that you're getting an academic secondary source, okay? And so this one actually is one that you can't get the full text to through the library database, but if you really want to read an article, what I suggest you do is print out all this information and go to the library to see if they can help you find it, okay? And so you can go through the website to do this, or you can just go into the library and show them what you came up with. So another thing that we can look for is, none of these, unfortunately, are letting us have the full text. And so one of the ways that we can sort of search for that is go back to the library homepage, and we can look into the articles and e-resources page. We can go to the databases, A to Z, and what this is going to do is it's going to give us different search databases that we can use through Seattle colleges. And so the one I'm going to have you guys look up, search for databases, search for Proquest, okay? This is a really useful one. It's a multidisciplinary research. There's a lot of different scholarly journals that you have access to here. And so this is something that South Seattle College pays to have the use of this database. And so what it does here is if you open that up, it's going to take us straight to the Proquest database, right? And so we're going to use our same search terms and start working in here. So let's just look up, again, Jasmine Ward, okay? So let's just search that in the most general terms and see what happens. Okay, so we have 20 sources here. We've got something that comes from All Things Considered. It's something on NPR, right? And so this is probably an interview. And again, over on the left side, we're going to be able to sort of set the terms for what it is that we're looking for, right? So I want to say, let's just say peer-reviewed and see if anything comes up. Peer-reviewed, great. So that's that same article that we just found on the library database, right? The one that we didn't have access to. So we can actually get that on the Proquest website, which is cool. And so from here, you can see the full text, right? You can download the PDF, you can email it to yourself, you can print it. So that's why you need to sort of use the library database, but then also go to these other databases like Proquest to search for those articles that it's not showing you right away. okay? Because our library database isn't that smart. This is kind of the disappointing thing about the library database is sometimes we have to do the extra work to actually find the article. And so you can ask a librarian to help you, or if you come to the workshop, we can try to find it together, the workshop that's going to be after class. But what I would recommend is you can use Proquest, and I'll show you another quick database that I'd like for you to search. So let's go back to search for articles in e-resources, databases. This is what you want to be clicking on. And then another one I would start with is called JSTOR, which didn't come up for some reason. Here, let's see if it comes up in this. If we just click on J. Okay, so that's not actually a database we have access to, so let's see if we have access to, okay. I want to go back to the library page. I want to just search JSTOR and see what comes up here. Okay, so we do have access to it. Some of these links don't work. You kind of have to be strategic about putting it into all of the different searches to look. So we can get into the journal from here, and so it should give us, again, access provided by South Seattle College, right? All right, so we're going to type in Jasmine Ward, one article from a book chapter. But again, right, that's why we use the search terms in multiple ways. But this is from a scholarly text. It's a book chapter that's on something to do with family and Ward Salvage the Bones, right? And you can get this online, which is kind of cool, okay? So here's what we have access to, and you can download that PDF. So keep all this in mind as you're doing your searching for the Ward source journal entries. And again, bring those in on Thursday. We're going to talk about what makes a good source journal entry, and we're going to talk about how you can use these databases with your own research topics. Okay. So remember the things that I want you to look for. Right, you got to start with your search terms first, and then the different databases that I want you looking for are EBSCO, right, just through the library's main website, and then Proquest, right, and then JSTOR. Those are good databases to start with, right? And so again, you can get those by going from the library's main page to this page, looking in the databases, right, searching for that. If we go to P, you can find Proquest, right? Proquest is a useful one. If we want to start again at the beginning, library page, right, we can just type in JSTOR, and that's going to lead us to this link too. Okay, so remember you got to be signed in to get access to all that. Okay, so I will see you guys on Thursday with those sample source journal entries. Please submit them on Canvas and also bring those into class so that we can talk about the searches. All right, guys.